Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever walked into a dark room, fumbled around, then realized, oh, the switch was right there all along? That's what your mindset is. An invisible switch. Always present, but only powerful when flipped on. Your mindset is the gateway. It's not talent, not money, not even connections. It's your thinking. If you believe success is reserved for the lucky, you'll wait around for chance. But if you believe success is earned, you'll work for it. It's the same life, but a different lens. One switch, and the world looks different. A positive mindset doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means seeing problems as stepping stones. A growth mindset says, I don't know yet, but I will. A fixed mindset says, I'm just not good at that. Here's the truth. Most people live their whole lives with the switch turned off. They wait for motivation, for perfect timing, for signs, but winners, they flip the switch themselves. They train their minds before they train their bodies. They discipline their thinking before they chase goals. Mindset is the master key. Change it, and you change everything. So today, flip that invisible switch, not tomorrow, not when things get better now. You'll be amazed at how bright life becomes once the light is on. You don't get what you wish for, you get what your mindset is ready to handle. Start building the mind, and the rest will follow. Every day you either feed your doubts or your dreams. Choose your diet wisely. The richest soil can't grow seeds planted with fear. Confidence is fertilizer. If the mind is weak, life feels heavy. If the mind is strong, even challenges feel light. Success isn't a mystery, it's a mindset made visible through action. Excuses are just stories your old mindset tells to keep you comfortable. You can't change your life with the same thinking that created your problems. Flip the switch. Discipline isn't just for the body, it's a muscle of the mind. Train it, your outer world reflects your inner world. You fix the mirror by changing the face in it. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your mindset. So build a mindset that makes falling impossible. You don't get what you wish for. Wishing is easy. Anybody can wish. You sit back, close your eyes, and think about all the things you want. A better job, a stronger body, more money, deeper relationships, and then what? You open your eyes, and nothing has changed. Because wishing doesn't move mountains. Work does. And work begins with belief. Belief in yourself. Belief in your direction. But more importantly, belief that your mindset controls the outcome, not luck. Let me tell you something about wishing. Wishing without action is just daydreaming. It's like planting seeds in the sand and expecting a harvest. If there's no mindset, no discipline, no drive behind the wish, it dies quietly. You don't attract success by hoping it shows up at your door. You attract it by preparing yourself to receive it. That means waking up earlier, reading more, saying no to comfort and yes to growth. That means flipping the switch from I wish to I will. Wishing looks for shortcuts. Mindset looks for meaning. Wishing waits. Mindset builds. So if you've been wishing for a breakthrough, a transformation, a better life, here's the truth. Stop wishing. Start wiring your mind for work, for change, for greatness. You don't get what you wish for. You get what your mindset earns. Every day you either feed your doubts or your dreams. That's it. That's the choice. You don't have to say it out loud. You don't even have to be aware of it. But the truth is, your mind is always eating something. It's either being fed fear or it's being fed faith. See, doubts don't need much. They grow fast. One small whisper, what if I fail? And suddenly you're standing still. One bad memory, one missed opportunity, and doubt starts building a case, a strong one. It'll remind you of every mistake, every shortcoming, every reason you shouldn't try again. But dreams need attention. They need fuel. They need your time, your belief, your energy. They need you to show up every single day, even when you're tired, even when the results are slow. If you don't feed your dreams, they shrink. They don't vanish overnight, but they fade, slowly, quietly, until one day, all that's left is the question, what if I had tried? So ask yourself every morning, what am I feeding today? If you feed your doubts, they'll grow fat and heavy and they'll sit right on top of your potential. But if you feed your dreams, if you read, if you learn, if you act, they'll start fighting back. They'll push doubt out of the way, and they'll lead you forward. Every day you get to choose the meal, so choose wisely. Feed what you want to grow. You can have the best conditions, the perfect timing, all the tools, all the support, everything lined up just right. But if you plant your ideas, your goals, your efforts in fear, nothing good will grow. Fear is a poison to potential. It doesn't matter how rich the soil is, if the seed is full of doubt, hesitation, and anxiety, it won't take root. Fear will choke out every opportunity before it even gets a chance to stretch. People spend years preparing the ground, the education, the planning, the networking, but they never plant the seed because fear whispers, "What if it doesn't work?" So they wait, they overthink, they hesitate until the season passes, and then they blame the conditions. But it was never the soil, it was always the seed. Courage is the ingredient that activates the soil. Faith is what allows the roots to grow deep. Confidence is what lets the plant break through the surface. Without those, even the best environment goes to waste. So if you want something to grow, your business, your relationship, your dream, you've got to plant it in belief, not in fear, not in doubt, because fear doesn't feed growth, it freezes it. And frozen seeds don't bloom. If the mind is weak, life becomes a burden. Even the smallest tasks feel like mountains. A delay feels like a disaster. A single failure feels like the end of the road. You see, when your mind isn't trained, life's ordinary bumps start to feel like brick walls. You take everything personally, react emotionally, and lose energy just trying to get through the day. But when the mind is strong, when it's disciplined, focused, and full of purpose, something amazing happens. The same world, the same problems, the same weight. Suddenly, it feels lighter. Not because the problems got smaller, but because you got stronger. You've probably met people like that. Calm under pressure, still focused when everything's falling apart. That's not magic. That's mental muscle, built slowly, day by day. And when the mind is strong, it can carry the load. It can reframe setbacks as lessons. It can look at uncertainty and still move forward. A strong mind doesn't avoid challenge. It absorbs it, learns from it, and grows. So don't wish for an easier life. Don't hope the burdens disappear. Build a stronger mind, because once that's in place, life gets lighter. Not by chance, but by choice. Success isn't a mystery. It's not locked away in some secret vault that only a lucky few know how to open. It's not hidden in some complicated formula, or found only by those born into the right family or the right country. No, success is something far simpler and far more powerful. It starts in the mind, always. The thoughts you think, the beliefs you carry, the attitude you bring to every day, that's the real blueprint. Success begins as something invisible, something internal, a quiet decision, a commitment, a vision. But here's the key, it doesn't stay invisible for long, because mindset, when it's real, starts to show up in action, in the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you handle problems, the way you treat people. You can always spot someone with the right mindset, not because they say it, but because they live it. They don't wait for motivation, they create momentum. They don't talk about goals, they move toward them. They don't let fear take the wheel, they feel it, face it, and keep going anyway. So when people ask, what's the secret to success? There really isn't one. It's no mystery. It's a mindset that refuses to sit still, a mindset that moves, a mindset that becomes visible, day after day, in small choices, consistent effort, and steady growth. That's the real path, and it's available to anyone willing to walk it. Excuses, let's call them what they really are. They're not facts, they're not reality, they're just stories. Clever little tales. Your old mindset whispers when it feels uncomfortable, uncertain, or challenged. That old mindset doesn't like change. It doesn't like risk. It doesn't want you to stretch, to grow, or to rise. So what does it do? It tells you things like, now's not the right time, or you're too busy, or you're not ready yet. And if you're not careful, you believe those stories. You start to treat them like truth. But they're not truth. They're protection. Protection from discomfort, from failure, from exposure. But here's the thing, that protection has a price. It costs you progress. It costs you growth. It costs you the life you could have had if you had simply stopped listening to the old voice and started writing a new story. Excuses sound reasonable, even responsible sometimes. But behind every excuse is fear dressed up in logic. And the longer you keep listening, the longer you stay exactly where you are. Growth only happens when you interrupt the pattern, when you recognize the excuse, call it out, and do the work anyway. Comfort zones are quiet, but they're also dangerous. So the next time that voice starts spinning its story, don't argue with it, just act. Take the step, do the work, because that's how you shut down the old mindset and build a new one that doesn't tell stories, but writes real results. You can't change your life with the same thinking that created your problem. It's just not possible, because the mindset that led you into the struggle can't be the same one that leads you out. If your thinking stays the same, your results stay the same. That's the law. You see, problems don't appear out of nowhere. They come from choices, and choices come from thoughts. So if your thoughts are rooted in fear, laziness, excuses, or short-term comfort, then your life will reflect that. You'll repeat patterns, you'll keep hitting the same wall, and you'll start thinking, why does this always happen to me? But it's not life, it's not luck, it's thinking. If you want a new outcome, you need a new approach. That means challenging old beliefs, questioning your habits, being honest about how you got here, and brave enough to think differently moving forward. Growth begins the moment you stop defending your limitations and start rewriting them. You don't need a new year or a new environment. You need a new perspective. Because once your thinking shifts, everything else can follow. Your actions change, your standards rise, your circle improves. But none of that starts until the mind does. So if you're stuck, don't push harder. Think higher. Because the door to the next level doesn't open with force. It opens with fresh thinking. Discipline isn't just about waking up early, hitting the gym, or sticking to a schedule. That's part of it, sure, but that's the surface. Real discipline begins in the mind. It's a mental muscle, and just like any other muscle, it needs resistance to grow. Every time you say no to something that's easy but unproductive, you're training that muscle. Every time you choose action over excuses, you're getting stronger up here, not just in the body, but in the thinking. And here's the truth, without mental discipline, all the other kinds fall apart. You can start a plan, but you won't stick to it. You can set a goal, but when it gets tough, you'll fold. Because the moment your feelings take over and your focus slips, the mind that hasn't been trained starts making deals with laziness. But a disciplined mind doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait to feel ready. It decides, and then follows through. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable, inconvenient, or unpopular. That's where growth lives. That's where progress hides. And the beauty of it is this: anyone can build it. You don't need special talent or perfect conditions. You just need to start small, stay consistent, and challenge your limits a little more each day. Because once your mind is trained for discipline, everything else becomes easier. Goals get clearer, distractions get weaker, and success becomes not just possible, but predictable. Your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. What you see around you, your habits, your results, your relationships, your circumstances, all of it is a mirror showing you what's going on inside. If there's chaos out there, there's usually confusion in here. If there's disorder in your surroundings, there's often a lack of clarity in your thinking. And here's the mistake most people make. They keep trying to fix the reflection. They polish the mirror. They change jobs, switch routines, blame the economy, point fingers. But the mirror only shows you what you bring to it. If you don't like the expression in the mirror, don't blame the glass. Change the face that's looking into it. That means working on your thoughts, your attitude, your self-image. That means asking the hard questions. What am I allowing in my life? What thoughts am I feeding every day? What story am I telling myself that keeps showing up in my reality? When you take responsibility for your inner world, the outer world responds. It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. Slowly, your energy shifts, your choices improve, your standards rise, and without even trying to force it, the world around you starts to reflect something new, something stronger, more focused, more aligned. So stop fighting the mirror. Start shaping the person who stands before it. Because when the inside changes, the outside has no choice but to follow. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your mindset. Goals are just the destination, but your mindset is the vehicle that gets you there. You can set the most ambitious goals, dream big, and make plans that could change your life. But without the right mindset, those goals will remain out of reach. If your mindset is weak, negative, or disorganized, you will stumble and fall short, even if you have the best intentions. Why? Because mindset is the foundation upon which success is built. It's how you think, how you react, and how you approach obstacles. A mindset filled with self-doubt, fear, and excuses won't propel you forward. It will hold you back. On the other hand, a mindset filled with determination, confidence, and a commitment to constant growth will give you the strength to overcome any challenge. It's not enough to want something. You must believe you are capable of achieving it, and be willing to act even when it's tough. Your mindset determines your resilience, your ability to stay focused, and your willingness to learn from failures. It keeps you moving when motivation fades, and reminds you that setbacks are only stepping stones. The real truth is simple: the person you become along the way, your mindset, your habits, your self-discipline, is what ultimately determines whether you succeed or not. So don't just focus on the goals. Work on strengthening your mindset. Build a mindset that is unshakable, a mindset that believes you are capable, and a mindset that will carry you through when the road gets rough. In life, we are constantly presented with opportunities and challenges. The world around us can be a reflection of the world within us. How we see our circumstances, how we respond to adversity, and how we navigate the roadblocks all depend on one simple but powerful truth: mindset. You don't need to look far to see that the people who thrive, the ones who rise above challenges and achieve remarkable success, aren't just those with the best resources or the easiest paths. They're the ones who have developed a mindset that drives them forward. It's the belief in themselves, the unwavering commitment to their goals, and the willingness to do the work day in and day out. They understand something fundamental that too many people overlook. Your external world is a direct reflection of your internal world, and it's the thoughts you nurture, the beliefs you hold, and the attitudes you cultivate that shape your reality. It all begins with the mind. The power of the mind is greater than we often give it credit for. Discipline, determination, focus, and resilience. These qualities are born and nurtured in the mind. Without a strong, well-trained mind, you'll find yourself constantly battling obstacles, making excuses, and falling short of your potential. But with a strong, disciplined mindset, you'll find that even the greatest of challenges feel lighter, more manageable, and ultimately surmountable. The stories you tell yourself matter. Every time you allow doubt or fear to creep into your thoughts, every time you hold back out of uncertainty or comfort, you're reinforcing an old, outdated mindset that's keeping you stuck. It's like looking in a mirror and seeing the same reflection over and over again. If you want to change your life, you need to change the face in the mirror. You need to confront your fears, eliminate your excuses, and develop a mindset that is unshakable, unyielding, and focused on growth. It's not about being perfect or getting everything right. It's about taking consistent, deliberate action in the direction of your goals. It's about feeding your dreams instead of your doubts. It's about realizing that success isn't a mystery. It's a mindset made visible through action. Your mindset is the blueprint for your life. It's the lens through which you view the world, the filter through which you process experiences, and the driver behind every decision you make. If you want success, you must train your mind to think like a success-minded person. This is the only way to create lasting, meaningful change. Success is not reserved for the lucky or the talented. It's available to anyone who is willing to work for it, who is willing to commit to developing a mindset that is aligned with their goals. It's about recognizing that every step forward, every small victory, every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger. And the only way to do that is by changing the way you think. Your outer world reflects your inner world. If you want to change the world around you, you must first change the thoughts and beliefs you carry with you every day. The process of growth is not always easy. It requires effort, focus, and discipline. But remember, discipline is not just for the body, it's a muscle of the mind. Just like physical strength is built over time, so is mental strength. You won't get strong overnight, but with consistent practice and determination, you'll begin to notice changes. Small choices will add up. Your daily habits will start to align with your goals, and over time, you will become the person capable of achieving everything you've dreamed of. No one is born with an unshakable mindset. It's built, it's cultivated, and it's something you can develop with intention and practice. The first step is realizing that you are responsible for your life. Excuses are just stories your old mindset tells to keep you comfortable. Stop accepting the stories that hold you back and start creating new ones. Stories of triumph, resilience, and growth. Your mindset will dictate the actions you take, the decisions you make, and ultimately the success you achieve. So don't make the mistake of believing that success is something that only happens to other people. Success is something you can create for yourself, starting right now. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your mindset. If you want to reach new heights, you must first elevate your thinking. You must challenge your limitations and push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. But more than that, you must trust in the power of your mindset to carry you forward. Changing your life isn't about finding the perfect moment or waiting for the right circumstances. It's about taking responsibility for the mind you bring to each situation. If you bring a mindset of growth, determination, and resilience, then success will follow. But if you bring a mindset of doubt, fear, and indecision, you'll continue to find yourself stuck in the same place, battling the same challenges, and wondering why nothing ever changes. As you move forward, remember this: you can't change your life with the same thinking that created your problem. If you want something different, you must think differently. You must develop a mindset that is ready to face challenges head on, that is willing to step out of the comfort zone and take risks, and that is committed to learning and growing each and every day. It's time to start feeding your dreams, not your doubts. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating the mindset that will carry you through anything life throws your way. The journey may not always be easy, but with the right mindset, it will always be worth it. And when you look back at the life you've created, you'll see that the change didn't come from the world around you. It came from the transformation that started within you. So start today. Start with your thoughts, with your mindset. Train your mind, and everything else will follow. The world is waiting for the best version of you, and that version begins with a single thought. A thought that says, I am ready to grow, I am ready to change, I am ready to succeed.